Good morning and welcome back. Today I ventured out to a new dam for me. The name of the dam is Ricketts. The other name is Groot Mariko. I've never been here, and my idea today was to come out to something different and exercise sort of my mind and try and look for some fish, especially if I haven't been here. So what do we do? What do we try? Where do we go? So I've chosen two baits for today's exercise, the first being a spinnerbait and the second being a chatterbait. Both of them are excellent search tools in a new body of water. So my objective today is to really try and show you how to cover water effectively, where to go and what to do. So when I got here this morning, I'd obviously heard now that this dam has got like sort of a milky color to it, which doesn't really bother me. I'm not really scared of dirty water. But the two baits, being the spinnerbait and the chatterbait, both work exceptionally well in murky or discolored water. The two colors that I've chosen is white and chartreuse, and I'll be also throwing some black and blue and possibly some green pumpkin. All these colors are very good in dirty to stained water. So the first bait that I've chosen is a spinnerbait. This particular spinnerbait is a 3/8 ounce. So when I was looking at the let me just do it like that for you. When I got here this morning looking at the water, exactly what everybody had told me, that the water is slightly discolored and murky. So I'm assuming at this point that the fish will be up shallow. Looking around, there's a bit of brush, a little bit of grass, but not much. The water is only at 60% odd. So a lot of the sort of the good cover is on higher land at the moment. So what I'll be doing is I'll be covering the banks, looking with my spinnerbait, really putting the bait right up in the shallows, working it through the shallow rock, and then the second part is I'll be working through the shallow brush. I'm assuming this time of the year, I'm hoping that I'll be getting some fish off the rock. I really like to fish the rock with spinnerbaits. Chatterbaits more in the grass and the sort of fine brush. So that's why I've chosen the two baits respectively. So this particular one is a 3/8 ounce. It's a Terminator. It's an old Terminator. It's got a nice turtleback blade on it just to displace a bit of water. It's going to make it easier for the fish to find. I've started off with a white. I really like white and a little bit of stained water. So that's what I'm going to be starting off with. The outfit that I'm using, this particular reel, is a Corrado. This is a 5-to-1 ratio. It's a 200 PG, so it's a 5-to-1 ratio reel. I'm using 16-pound Sugoi for carbon, and I'm using a G Loomis IMX Pro 812 spinnerbait rod. This particular rod is an unbelievable rod. It's got a really superb action. It's got a nice soft tip and it's got a lot of backbone on the lower end of the rod. So it's a nice combination of rod. It allows you to make short, accurate casts, and yet when you still get a big fish, it can manage the fish and get the fish out of the cover if you need the extra backbone. So the IMX Pro comes in an 812, which is a 6'9" power 2. That's a 10 to 17 pound, and the power 3 is up to your 12 to 20 pound. The reason why I've gone for the 5 ratio reel is that I really enjoy to fish my spinnerbait slow. I really and truly believe that makes a big difference. A lot of people use a 7-to-1, and a lot of people use that I know use an 8-to-1. But in this particular case, I enjoy a 5. It's never let me down, and that's my preferred reel at this point. The second bait that I said we're going to be using a white chatterbait. Okay, so the reason again, just to try and to use a color that I'm very confident with, and I really enjoy a white in this sort of color water. The other colors that I will be throwing is possibly a black and blue, or possibly a green pumpkin with a bit of chartreuse. But for me, white is what I want to start with, and let's see if we can get a couple of bites on it. In this particular setup that I've got a IMX Pro. This is a chatterbait rod, also rated 12 to 20 pound. It's a power 3. You also do get a power 2, but I've again opted for a power 3. I also fish this on 16-pound fluorocarbon. However, I have been up on the half-ounce, 3/4 ounce chatterbaits. I do go up to 20 pound. You can fish it on braid, I prefer to fish it on fluorocarbon. The reel of choice, I've gone with the Shimano Metanium. This is a 7-to-1 ratio. This is a HG, it's a high gear. So I've chosen the 7-to-1 ratio. I just found that that really works well for me. You can use a high speed or 8.5-to-1, but I've opted for the 7-to-1 Metanium NGL series reel. So right guys, I think let's get out there, let's have a look. I'm going to try and concentrate on the rock at this point, rock and fine brush. So let's get out there, let's see if we can make this thing happen. See you on the water.
Right, we pulled up onto the shallow bank. This is a really shallow bank now, and this is where I'm going to start off first. There's a couple of submerged rocks, and what you'll see I'm doing is I'm casting the spinnerbait past the rock and then slowly coming and deflecting off the shallow rock. There's one under the water there, and there's another one there. So the idea here is to put the spinnerbait right on the bank and then slow roll it right past the rock. As you can see, this is a shallow flat leading up to a little quarry. So this is my starting point, making long casts up to the top and just slow rolling the spinnerbait back to the boat. The key here is just deflection. You have to hit the shallow rock in order to get these bites. Here I've moved on to like a slightly deeper edge. This is the inside of the quarry. So I'm making shorter, more precise cast. The water's a little bit deeper here. So you'll see I'm just pitching into the little crevices and slow rolling it out. There you can see an example from Google. So it's the inside of the quarry leading onto a shallow flat. Up ahead of me there, you'll notice that there's a bit of a transition. So we've got a little bit of a deeper edge, and then it slowly tapers off into a shallow point. And immediately rewarded with a good fish. These fish are unbelievably strong. Absolutely slam the bait. Nice fish. Spinnerbait doing the job again. Let's get her back into the water, just move off the bank. Right, excellent, let's get her back in. Okay, yeah, I've moved into another little bay. Same sort of scenario here, it's got a slightly deeper edge, and then to my right hand side you'll see how the transition basically goes from a slightly deeper bank onto a shallow point again. Really just putting the spinnerbait right up on the top, and immediately, same as before, fish's position on the transition, not a big fish. That's still so good to catch. Get it into the boat. Another spinnerbait fish. Right, yeah, I've switched to a chatterbait now, so I'm kind of going on the opposite side of that quarry now. Trying something different. I've gone through with a spinnerbait, now I'm trying with a chatterbait. Just making the same cast onto the bank and then slow rolling it out, giving the fish a different option now. And there we go. So this fish, out of interest sake, actually hit me when I was going down the bank with a spinnerbait, but just bumped it. I've come down the same bank with a chatterbait, and now this fish has absolutely smoked it. Good quality fish. So it just goes to show you, sometimes that spinnerbait, they bump it, the chatterbait will get them to react. Just go into spot lock here. Very nice fish. Must be some good food in this dam. These fish are super healthy, super strong. Let's get her back into the water. And off she goes. Fishing another shallow point to my right. And all I've really looked for is these little sort of rocks that are, you can just see the tops of them, making the cast past the rock, slowly winding the spinnerbait past the rock, bumping it. There, I've just bumped it now. Oh, beautiful. Another quality fish. Oh, these fish are strong. These fish are strong. The spinnerbait really worked well for me today, so I cannot complain about the fish. I haven't had many bites, but I've had good quality bites. So at the end of the day, it's all about taking your confidence baits, working the banks, getting results like these is really what makes these days special. Let's get her into the boat. But thanks so much for joining me, guys. I hope it's been a little bit informative, and I hope you've learned something. I really had a good time. Let's get this fish back into the water, and I'll see you on the next one.